Welcome back to the channel. Let's get straight into last night's 0-0 Champions League, let's face it, drubbing away at Monaco. We were so lucky not to lose that game. Big props to Guillermo Vicario, who has been getting so much abuse recently, but he showed still that he's an elite shot stopper. And I just want to get into it, really. Firstly, actually, apologies for any of you who tried to join me for the watch along on BigUp. The technology wasn't working last night for some reason, but should all be sorted for the weekend game away at Everton. So do join me on BigUp for all the watch alongs for the Spurs games. For some reason, the tech just went down last night. But let's talk about this Tottenham team. We've got to be realistic here. We are functional, but no better. And Thomas Frank knows that. We have 10 injuries, guys, 10 injuries. And in that injury group are, like some could say easily, our two most creative players, James Maddison, Decky Kulusevski. And Thomas Frank knows that. I know it's really difficult for us as fans when performances aren't good to just blame the manager, but he can only do as well as the tools that he has got. And the reality is, without those creative players and whilst having to rotate, we are not going to get many better performances. That's the truth. In fact, if you add on Romero and Udogie and the creativity we lose through Romero's breaking the line passes and the balance that we lose from Udogie being injured, then if you look on that pitch last night, no creativity whatsoever. And Mohamed Kudus, who has been our most creative player this season, he is knackered at the moment. He is spent. You can see it when it gets to 60 minutes of every game right now. He just cannot chase back and basically will not chase back. And as a result, that is the kind of performance we're going to get yesterday. Yes, we made Monaco look really good. They should have won the game. And, there is an argument to say that at 65 minutes in the last two games, we have just totally lost our legs, totally just looked so fatigued. And maybe he needs to do even more rotation. But don't forget, this is such a young squad. And he's down to the bare bones already, seemingly. Now, a lot of people saying today, what has happened with Pat Matasar? Why is he not getting a game? He was so good early in the season. But you saw him when he came on yesterday. He came on at the same time as Xavi Simons. Everyone having a go at Xavi Simons, but nobody realizing or thinking to say how poor Pat Sarr was as well. It looks to me like he's had an injury. He's trying to come back from that injury. And in reality, Pat Sarr is not the player who we can have in midfield who's going to pop the ball around, keep possession under pressure. He's just not. And so that, I think, is why Thomas Frank is not bringing him in for games like yesterday. I honestly fear that if we played that game last season with these players under Big Ange Postecoglou, we probably would have lost 5-0. And I'm going to say this again. Everyone's so angry about the Bentancur and Palhinha double pivot. But as soon as he takes one of them off, we lose any control we had in midfield, any balance, any shape. And Monaco were just playing through the centre of our midfield at will after he took Bentancur off yesterday. And that is why he keeps playing them, because they give us some kind of shape, some kind of balance, some kind of ability to protect the two centre-backs in front, behind them. Mickey van der Ven is obviously playing unbelievably, but without those double pivots, then it would have gone back to Ange ball, and kind of did after 60 minutes, and has done for me every time he's taken one of them off. So I am with Thomas Frank and keeping those two playing. I'd also add, like I said about Kudus looking shattered, maybe it's time to give him a rest against Everton on Sunday, because we've then got Newcastle away in the Carabao Cup. And listen, for years, Spurs fans have been saying we want to win trophies, and now we've got a taste of one. What is more important to you? Let me know in the comments. Is it Everton away at the weekend, or is it Newcastle away the week after? If we can get a fit Mohamed Kudus, like really firing away at St. James's Park, then maybe we can get a result there in a one-off game, but it's going to be incredibly difficult. Again, I did mention Guillermo Vicario and his shot stopping. I think yesterday he showed why he is a level above Antonin Kinski at the moment. Yes, he's not brilliant with his feet. Of course, we know this, but his shot stopping was really back to what we know. Is it coincidence that was in the Champions League, where maybe there's less kind of tempo and aerial pressure, less people blocking him at corners and stuff like that? Don't know. Could be a coincidence, but good to see him back at his very best. And he made some unbelievable saves last night. He wasn't just doing his job. There were some saves he had absolutely no right to pull out of the bag. So fair play to Vicario. He deserved his man of the match, and hopefully that'll keep some people quiet for a while. One other thing I just wanted to mention, a lot of Spurs fans during this difficult period that we're having, just talking about how none of the players, again, Palhinha, Bentancur, none of those midfielders willing to take risks. So, play Bergvall, play Pat Matsar, play players who are going to take more risks on the ball. Well, Bergvall took risks on the ball last night and lost it a number of times. And then the fans having a go at Bergvall. You can't have it each and every way. You just can't. Either you want those players to be brave, young, exciting talents, or you want them to play a little more carefully and pragmatically, as maybe a Bentancur and a Palhinha do. You can't have it each and every way. So you can't have a go at Bergvall, as far as I'm concerned, for having a bad game when literally you've been crying out for him to get on that pitch and to be trying those things. Good news, trying to find some positives. Archie Gray put in a good performance, first at left back and then looked really good when he came into midfield towards the end of the game. He clearly does have an engine that goes for 90 minutes. I don't know why it is that a lot of those players so early in the season really don't. We just after 60, 65 minutes, just sit back and stop kind of pressing the opposition. It really allowed Monaco to get up ahead of steam. Another positive for me, Kolo Muani showed more in terms of ability to hold the ball up in the last 20 minutes of that game than Richarlison has all season in the number 9. And I don't know if Thomas Frank realizes this. I said it, I think, in yesterday's video. But maybe he could play Kolo Muani in the 9 to hold things up. Maybe he could give Richarlison, maybe at Everton would be perfect, a chance on the left-hand side. And then we'd have a bit more physicality in that forward line in 2 positions across it. In fact, if he played Kudus as well, although I'm slightly suggesting he should get a rest, that would be an incredibly physical forward line if he played Kudus, Kolo Muani, and Richarlison away at Everton. So that could be something to look out for. But really impressed by Kolo Muani's hold-up play. We had that chance right at the end to nick it, didn't we, with Brennan Johnson? The defender managed to get something on it. But that came from some good hold-up play. I mentioned Van der Ven. He's absolutely ridiculous. And again, another brilliant captain's performance. But just the Warriors, if he gets injured, we're absolutely doomed. We are doomed if Van der Ven gets injured. Romero cannot come back quick enough, nor can Udogie. We just need all of these players back. It is ridiculous that we've got 10 players out injured. All 10 of those players, I'd say, arguably will be in and around the first team as well. I think a lot of those are remnants. A lot of those injuries are kind of remnants from last season. If you think about Dragushin and stuff, Kulusevski as well. But we need those players back. We don't have a strong enough squad to be down to the bare bones like we have been basically for the last 3 seasons. And again, just one other thing. I thought Odobert looked promising again. As ever, his final decision-making still an issue, but I think it will come. I think I saw Harry Brooks, who's a brilliant coach. Make sure you follow him on Twitter if you don't already. I think I saw him talking about how when Odobert tries to take people on, he's got to use his arms more for balance and to kind of hold people off. I agree with that. That will come, though. That physicality will come. He every so often runs into blind alleys a little bit, but very, very brave on the ball. Very, very direct. And I think he's going to become an excellent player for Spurs. At this point in his career at Spurs, he should be basically just coming on and being like finisher to games. And we should have someone better in front of him. And interestingly, Savinho got a man of the match for Man City this week. So we missed out on him, for instance. But Odobert, just like Tell is, just like Bergvall and Gray and Sarr, are just being thrown into the fire, probably a little bit too young. And we're just going to have to be patient. I know it's really difficult, but we just have to be patient. Some news this morning that the club have announced that Eric Hinson, a former senior executive within the global aviation and aerospace sectors, is joining the board as a non-executive director. The board is now Peter Charrington, Vinay Venkatesham, Matthew Collicott, and Jonathan Turner, alongside Eric Hinson. I don't know much about him. He served in the US Navy as an officer and a training pilot, so he's obviously American. For me, is there an element where we need a bit of football nous on the board? Possibly, but who knows? Who knows what his job will entail? But Spurs trying to get their ducks in a row off the pitch. And I hope they're all realizing, that boardroom, that we need help on the pitch big time. This squad is still in a state of flux. We need to do something about it. More difficult games away to come. Everton and Newcastle. Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. You know, all I can think is surely we can't do as badly there as we did at Goodison last season under Ange, which was a genuine low. So hopefully the players can get in the ice bath, get back fit for the game against Everton on Sunday and give us a performance. That'll be a game of endless balls into the channels, I would have thought. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Do give this video a like. Press subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Come on, you Spurs.